Accidents happen, but this is no accident. Tonight on Panorama, inside a criminal gang who are ripping off insurance companies. To the tune of tens of thousands of pounds. And some of the companies benefiting from text messages trying to get you to make a claim.
It's certainly not a scam here, Declan, mate. We work alongside around 75 different solicitors across the UK.
As car insurance premiums continue to rise, how insurance companies themselves are complicit in the compensation culture.
It is a system which has got dysfunctional and difficult, and we do need to sort it.
Meet Chris Berry. He's 18 and he passed his driving test a year ago. Despite appearances, Chris is not a farmer. In fact, he lives here on this housing estate in Bolton and gets around on a 1953 Fordson Major tractor. Chris, why do you drive an antique tractor?
There's a lot of reasons, mainly because I can't afford car insurance. I mean, I'm getting quoted like £7,000 to £8,000 for a year's car insurance.
So you're forced to drive this, really?
Yeah.
So how much insurance do you pay on this?
£57 a year. That's fully comprehensive.
Chris has become a victim of a massive rise in motor insurance premiums. One survey found that for young drivers, premiums are up 64% in a single year, and for the rest of us, they're up by 40%. So, what's going on? The A414 in Hertfordshire. This lorry driver is about to be involved in an accident with the car in front. The lorry's built-in camera records the whole thing. At first glance, it looks like a real accident. It seems as if the blue car was forced to slow down suddenly, and the lorry driver's at fault. But look again. Police now believe that the two cars were working together, and that this collision is all part of a conspiracy to claim tens of thousands of pounds from the lorry driver's insurance. It's known as crash for cash. And tackling it has become the focus of the Insurance Fraud Bureau.
Around about 30,000 accidents a year are either staged or induced, worth somewhere in the region of £350 million a year, and that's ultimately adding to the cost of insurance for genuine consumers.
The Bureau has access to all of the insurance records in the country, and they're using them to map out the crash for cash hotspots.
So at the moment, where are the worst places for this?
Birmingham is sitting at number 1 in our hotspots, followed by Sheffield and Manchester.
We want to get inside a crash for cash gang, and here's how we're going to do it. We've bought this second-hand Volvo and we've wired it up with cameras. Our Volvo is going undercover in a crash for cash gang. We've been told about a business called First Standard Accident Claims Limited in Dagenham, Essex. And there, we're introduced to this man, Ghazanfar Siddique. Soon after we first make contact with him, Siddique tells us if we have the right paperwork, he'll arrange to have our Volvo damaged.
Insurance basically ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਾਮ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਤੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਦਾ ਰਜਿਸਟ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੰਬਰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ
ਅੱਛਾ ਤਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਦੋਂ ਹੋਊਗਾ
ਕੰਮ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅੱਛਾ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਰੂਟ ਹੋਤੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਹੋਤੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ
We've been told the fraud works like this. This is our car, and the gang will take it and another car away to a secluded spot and damage them. Then they'll tell the insurance companies that those cars were involved in a real accident, but the whole thing will be completely made up. A few weeks later, we're back at the office. There's a new name on the door, FG Rentals, and Siddique isn't around. But according to this woman, the fraud is still on. She's Fatima Haji, the director of FG Rentals Limited and Siddique's business partner. She tells us when to drop our car off so it can be crashed.
Bring it after free because ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਹਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਟੀਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਈ ਥੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਕਰਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਡੀ ਪਈ ਦੀ ਚਾਬੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਤੱਕ ਆਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਉਹ 2-3 ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਅੱਛਾ ਤੇ 6 ਵਜੇ ਆ ਜਿਓ ਤੇ
Crash for cash fraud is estimated to add about £40 to all of our premiums, but because so many gangs get away with it, nobody knows for sure. Yet it's only one of the reasons why our car insurance premiums are going up. In fact, the biggest reason for the price hike isn't criminal fraud, it's our compensation culture. In the last 5 years, we seem to have become addicted to motor insurance claims for personal injury, and at the centre of it is whiplash.
There are some estimates of around 1,000 whiplash claims being made every day in the UK at the moment, which is significantly more than anywhere else in Europe. And furthermore, each of those people making a claim, on average, was claiming more.
Some insurance companies believe that a significant proportion of whiplash claims filed in Britain today may be exaggerated or totally false. For doctors, trying to distinguish between real claims and fake ones isn't easy.
Declan, come on in.
Thanks for seeing me.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Please have a seat there. And first of all, we'll start at the top of the head. So, any problem when I do that?
No, that's fine.
No, great. I want you to look way up in the air for me. That's extension. And a way down, forward, far as you
Rodney Payton is a leading medical assessor for whiplash. But whiplash doesn't show up on any x-rays or scans, so in the end it comes down to whether the patient sounds plausible.
To say that somebody's lying is very, very difficult. If you tell me right now you've got a sore neck, I have no idea. You tell me you've got a sore neck, I have to accept you say that.
So you have to give me
So I look underneath that. I give you the benefit of the doubt, and if everything is reasonable, then it's reasonable.
This is the heart of the problem with whiplash. Doctors have to give the benefit of the doubt. But when they do, that assessment will become a crucial piece of evidence in paying out a claim. At the moment, we have a situation, don't we, whereby if you tell an insurer that you've got whiplash, they're quite likely to believe that and possibly pay out without any questions asked.
Insurers know that if someone presents and they have a medical report that says they got whiplash, then the likelihood is that a court would allow that claim, and they work on that basis. So you've really got to address the root cause behind whiplash and how it's identified.
And whiplash is on the rise. 4 years ago, there were 552,000 personal injury claims arising from car accidents in the UK. Last year, there were 791,000. That's a rise of 43%. It's costing the British insurance industry £2 billion a year. Insurers are now paying more money out in claims than they're taking in premiums.
Here we go, satellite radio, y'all get hit with the boom, boom. This beat be bumping, bumping. This beat go boom, boom.
So, they're putting up the price of car insurance. Here in Lancashire, these younger drivers say they're reaching the limit of what they can afford.
How much are you paying at the moment?
Over £2,000.
1,900 quid at the minute.
2,200.
2,200.
I'm on 1,900 this year.
1,900. No, you're saying?
I'm on 3,000.
3,000.
1,900.
1,900. But there's a twist. They might be suffering from our addiction to claims, but they also feel that when it comes to our compensation culture, if you can't beat them, join them. Do you think that we live in a compensation culture at the moment?
Yeah, definitely.
Have any of you ever put in a claim?
Yeah, I have on my claim.
So the non-fault accident you just told us about, you did claim for that, for what?
Yeah, it was whiplash, but basically because the price they paid out wasn't enough to cover the price of the car, and so I need to get that money back somehow, don't I?
So did you have whiplash? Or
I did, yeah.
If you were involved in an accident that wasn't your fault, you're probably more likely to put a claim in for whiplash.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And would you all say that? Is that fairly...
Yeah, probably would, yeah.
According to one leading insurance broker, 7 years ago, 20% of motor accidents resulted in a personal injury claim. Today, it's 60%. We met some teenagers in Lancashire who said if they did have an accident, they'd be quite likely to claim. What is your reaction to that, and how do you go about addressing something that has now become almost part of the culture?
Well, I agree. I mean, that is a very good example of how it is becoming a cultural as much as a financial issue. So yes, there is a very significant problem here, and we have to deal with it.
But it's not just that we're more likely to make a claim, it seems we're also becoming more likely to lie about our injuries. A recent survey suggested that 1 in 6 people would consider lying or exaggerating in a personal injury claim. Back in Dagenham, we're going to meet the Crash for Cash gang. They're coming up with the lies for a fraudulent insurance claim. They're going to invent whiplash injuries for 3 phantom passengers.
Nephew. Back up.
The plan is to claim off our insurance, so we have to take the blame.
ਅਸੀਂ ਬੈਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਫਰੰਟ ਐਂਡ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਪੈਸੇਂਜਰ ਸਾਈਡ ਜ਼ਫੀਰਾ ਜੀ ਪੈਸੇਂਜਰ ਸਾਈਡ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਡੈਮੇਜ ਆ ਡੋਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਟਾਇਰ ਤੇ ਵਿੰਗ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਿਵਵੇ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੁਕੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਿਵਵੇ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੁਕੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ
ਅੱਛਾ ਗਿਵਵੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੁਕੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਫੇ ਕਸੂਰ ਹੈ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਗਿਵਵੇ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੁਕੇ ਅੱਛਾ.
And to help us understand, he was even happy to draw us a map. This is the piece of paper that Siddique gave to our undercover reporter, and it outlines in precise detail how this accident is supposed to have happened. Now, Siddique has even identified this precise spot in East Ham in East London, about 6 miles from his office, as where it's supposed to have occurred. And what we're going to tell the insurance company, according to Siddique, is that our green Volvo came down this road here and overshot this junction and crashed into a Vauxhall Zafira that was coming along here. Now, all of this, of course, is completely made up. Siddique is so confident the claim will go through, he writes us a cheque for £800, a reward for letting him claim on our insurance. Now, it's nearly time for him to make his money by organising for the fraudulent claim to be submitted. But there's something he needs to do first: have a crash. And that's where our trusty undercover Volvo comes in. We've delivered it to the gang. Our cameras will record every time someone gets in the car. We're in a hotel a couple of miles away, keeping tabs on what's happening. We've been told that they will stage the fake accident at some point tonight, but we don't know when. However, we do have some information because we've installed a tracking device on the car, and that tells us that already they've moved it from the business location where we dropped it off to this quiet residential street nearby. So maybe this is where the crash is going to happen. Maybe they'll move it again somewhere else, but what we do know is that our car is on the move. Fraud like this affects us all. But that's not the only thing pushing up our premiums. In fact, it's the system which kicks in around legitimate accidents that really costs us. We've brought a couple of scrap cars together on